what was like your biggest result? How much have you made over the last couple of months? Where you're currently at with your income? Like, give us a little bit of an overview there.
In the last sort of 3 months, I've managed to sort of get my income up to about 10k USD really, which I think is about £8,000.
Sweet. Yeah, congratulations on your success. Super excited to hear that. Harry, welcome back to the channel. Markus Dunk here. And today I have our great client here, Jonty, who has been crushing it absolutely with remote closing over the last couple of months. So I decided to invite him for an interview today to chat about his story, his experience in our mentoring program. And yeah, Jonty, welcome, my man. Super excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It was it was a big thing for me to get started in this. Yeah, I mean, I took the plunge, and about a year later now, I'm exactly at where I need to be. So, yeah, I'm very happy that I decided to take the plunge into doing this, and put all my eggs in one basket and really try and focus on the skill of closing.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so today I can't wait to jump into like your story and what happened in this last year since you started on this journey. So yeah, I mean, why don't we start just right there? Tell us a bit about what was like your biggest result? How much have you made over the last couple of months? Where you're currently at with your income? Like, give us a little bit of an overview there.
Yeah, so as about 6 months into the program, after I started your program, I joined my first gig. It was a bit of a turbulent ride there. I did actually have a really good month, and I made 10k USD within about 2 months of being there. But then me and him didn't really get along. There was a few issues, so I left there, and then I joined another gig pretty promptly after that. And I was kind of doing all right. I was at probably like the sort of 4 or 5k mark consistently, and then the last sort of 3 months, I've managed to sort of get my income up to about 10k USD really, which I think is about £8,000.
Sweet. Yeah, congratulations on your success. Super excited to hear that. It's always great also to see in that year you went through a few ups and downs. You hit the 10k, it went down a little bit again, and now you passed the 10k again. So let's talk a little bit about what was your life before we met. And I think we got introduced by a friend of yours, if I remember correctly. So yeah, what was life before for you, before we met, before you were in our mentoring program? Give us a little bit of a backstory of Jonty.
Yeah, so I come from a pretty middle class family, if I'm going to be honest. I don't come from any 0 to 100 sort of story, but yeah, my father has a few pubs, and I was working with him for a few years, helping him out there, doing some chef work. I worked behind the bar for him, did a lot of that. And I used to go to a gym in my local area in Norwich. And there was a guy called Ollie Cook who was a personal trainer there. And one day I was watching his Instagram stories. I'm like, what's this guy up to? And so I messaged him, and he told me about the remote closing, told me about the program he'd done with you. So I was very interested, spoke to him, and yeah, and then I got into contact with you. But I had a few other jobs before that as well. I installed solar panels with my uncle for a little bit. I actually, when I was 14, I actually had a Minecraft server that I ran for about 6 months. So that was pretty interesting little gig. But yeah, I was kind of like never really settled down. I didn't really do too well at school. In fact, I got kicked out of school. But yeah, no. And then I was just helping out my dad, and what really appealed to me was the being able to work wherever you want kind of thing, right? And so right now I'm really looking at this year to be traveling. I'm trying to look at setting up shop in Thailand very soon. And yeah, I'm bringing my girlfriend there for a year, and just seeing what life can bring to me over there at the minute.
That's exciting, man. Okay, so basically you're working at the chef. You did a bit of a work here and there. Nothing, nothing really remotely or anything like this. Family business as well, you mentioned, right? So
yeah.
And now to a point where you can work remotely. You're about to take your girl to Thailand for a year. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna have a great time there. That's for sure. I mean, what was life for you immediately after you started with the with the mentoring, the first kind of half of the program? How did things change for you? You know, and at that time, I think you were still working as a chef, if I remember. So you were working in like during the day and then in the evening or something like you had both things at the same time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so luckily just before I started, I was messing about with crypto, and I actually got really, really lucky, and made quite a substantial amount of money, which actually, you know, put me into a good headspace. And I was trying to find out ways of, you know, oh, I've got this money, but I don't really know what to do with it. So I invested it, you know, into learning a skill. And then afterwards, obviously, when I joined your program, it was very like, it hit me where it's like, you know, I've been wasting so much of my time doing kind of not much. And you know, and one of the things you said to me which really took me, which was like my aha moment, was when it was just like taking massive action, and massive imperfect action, and not really thinking about you know, everything having to fall into place, but you know, just starting now and just really going for it, and worrying about what happens after.
Yeah, I see that so often, you know, if action drives out thought. So the moment that you execute, you know, massive imperfect action. If you wait for all the stars to align, it's like if you leave in the car at home and you want to go to grocery stores and you wait until all the traffic lights are green, and this is when you start the car and you go, like, that's the wrong approach. Right.
Yeah,
So just getting in the game, being okay with failing, and just really failing forward and taking action. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say one of the, you know, the best things as well was you know, doing like the structure of the program, you know, keeping the accountability side of it, I thought was amazing. You know, doing the role plays, things like that, that really, like, you know, kept me in the zone, because I'd never really, you know, I had a personal coach in fitness before, but it's kind of like having your own sort of personal fitness coach, but for like learning an income skill, right? And that accountability side of it was a massive thing for me as well.
Absolutely. Just that you have someone in your corner who's there, you can reach out, you can ask. Okay. I'm curious, like, what does your family say about your transformation? I mean, from the Jonty that you were just helping out here and there a little bit, and now you're actually killing it, are pretty much independent, on your own. So are they aware of it? Do they know? Have you, like, tell me about that.
Yeah, so I've tried to sort of explain the concept to my mum. She doesn't really understand it all that much. That I'm sitting on my laptop just taking calls and making money all day. But my dad, he's quite you know, he's got that entrepreneurial spirit in him. He's quite a clever person. He definitely understands the whole concept. He was very, very supportive of me of doing this journey. So he's been supportive throughout the whole entire, you know, journey throughout. And yeah, I actually was just recently round his about a week ago, showing him some of my calls and call recordings, and we were sitting there watching them, you know, just laughing about some of the objection handling things that I was doing, and just going over a couple of things. So yeah, my dad's fully supportive, and yeah, dare to say proud of me at the current moment in time.
That's awesome. That's great. Cool. And he's not sad that you're not helping him out anymore, like in the family business and all of that?
No, so yeah, I mean, look, we had this discussion, and right now I'm very young, like I'm 21, so I had this discussion with him. It's definitely something that in the future, like, I'm not, you know, not gonna ever not be involved with that side of the business. I'm definitely looking at, you know, taking them over when I'm older. But for now, like, this concept of just having the freedom, you know, not being a burden to him at times, and, you know, just exploring life and exploring my options right now. You know, he's 100% supportive, and in fact, you know, he actually said, like, by you doing this, you know, that just this skill of you know, closing, the skill of human psychology, things like that, is such a huge impact in business later on in life. So he said, you know, by you doing this, it's actually going to, you know, better you maybe in the future than it would be just, you know, doing the ins and outs of like chef work and working behind a bar just to, you know, help out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a skill for life, right? The closing, communication, like you said, human psychology. You can apply to all types of relationships, whether that's, you know, in business or not in business. It's a life skill, you know. I mean, what does your day-to-day life look like right now? If I'm not wrong, you're still in the UK right now. And I know you're planning to go to Thailand, but how's life for you right now? Like,
Yeah,
how many
so
hours do you take? How much do you work?
So Thailand's in the works. We're looking at doing that as of next year.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is still at uni. She's still figuring herself out a little bit. She's trying to see if she can take the year off. So right now, I'm still in the UK. And my day to day is in, do you mean as in like how I work, like what my schedule looks like, sort of thing?
Yeah. What time do you get up? Like, what do you do? I mean,
Yeah,
how
so
does the day look like in your life as a closer, so to speak?
yeah, so interestingly enough, another thing that you taught me is I always had the concept about, having to get up at the crack of dawn and, trying to be that master sort of business person. But, I wouldn't say I'm a night owl either, but right now my schedule aligns more to that because I work with US clients. I used to religiously get up at like 5:30 a.m. every morning, but right now, I'm getting up a bit later, like 8 o'clock. And then I have the whole entire morning to myself. So, I do my morning routine, I go to the gym, and then I do an hour on personal development, whether that means increasing my own skills. Still, life's a continuous lesson and learning curve. So I always block off an hour every day to keep improving, sharpening that sword. And then I do an hour of admin and emails, and then at about 12 o'clock till about, I'd say about 7 p.m. So about 7 hours a day, I'm taking calls and then finishing up at about 7 really. So, and I at the minute I'm doing that just Monday to Friday and just taking the weekends off. But I will say, before, when I first joined the gig, or the second gig even, I was kind of just gunning it out, working really, really hard. But I think that was just because I really wanted to understand my prospects, get into their mindset, really understand the process. And I think, like it is with anything in life, like you have to really go gun ho to start with, take massive action. And once you crack the code, then you can sort of lay off the gas a little bit. So right now I'm starting to take my foot off the gas a little bit. But to start with, I was really smashing through it. But yeah, I'm happy where I'm at right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. The first time, it's like you have to put in more effort to get the momentum. It's like you pushing a car, right? But once it's rolling, you can just, uh take the foot off the gas, so to speak, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, that sounds good. Looking a little bit into the future. So next year, you said there's Thailand most likely going to come up. You with your girl, gonna go there for some time. What do you feel like where you will be, or what will life be like for you in, let's say, 2-3 years down the road, as a result of learning the skill of closing, as a result of you getting kickstarted with the mentoring program? Like, where do you see yourself? Like, what impact did this entire process made for you, and where do you see yourself in 2-3 years because of that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And to be honest with you, the thing I absolutely love about this kind of work, there's absolutely no ceiling to it. Like, every day I grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's probably like one of the most exciting things I find about doing this kind of stuff is, every day I'm getting stronger, every day I'm learning something. There's just an endless possibility of things you can do to, like I said, to sharpen that skill, to sharpen that sword. So hopefully in 2-3 years time, I can be looking to get that 10K, like up to 100K if I dare to say. And this is one of them jobs where the more and better you get at it, and the more networking you do, the more people you connect with, you can really just climb that ladder. And there's endless possibilities. There's actually a I don't know if I'm sure you're aware of the guy Alex Hormozy. He was saying, when it comes to sales and closing, it's the most it's the least paid job in the world, but it's also the most highly paid job in the world, depending on where you're at on the ladder.
Right.
Which was a very interesting thing that I heard. So yeah, I mean, it's one of them things where you really get what you put into it, and it's the effort equals the output, really, when it comes to this.
Very well said. Yeah. So one point that you mentioned there is very powerful in the world of skills or sales or high income skills, or what we do with closing. It is pretty much compounding, right? So the more you do, the better you get, the more confident you get, the more questions or situations you run into in a conversation, and the less you're going to be affected by that on the next call, right? You learn from that. And this compounding effect just results in you, first of all, you're going to get paid already as you learn, as you're in the game, as you're getting better. But this compounding effect, if you just, increase your closing rate, if you double your closing rate, you just double your income. Right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you have a huge leverage, and it's pretty much in your control on how much you want to improve and learn on a daily basis. And this is in direct relation to your income. Right.
And I would definitely say to like anybody like thinking about joining this as well, to not be like too scared, because you can really be like, this is as flexible as you want it to be to start with. Like, when I was still working with my old man, I didn't put all my chips into one basket. I was still helping out. And as I was, getting stronger and stronger, I was reducing my hours slowly and slowly to eventually giving up that line of work. So it's not like something where you have to like pull the trigger and there's like no going back from it. You can kind of juggle two balls at once. If you're in a 9 to 5 right now, don't be scared of taking action, because you can juggle your 9 to 5. You're just gonna have to put some extra hours in to learn that skill, and then eventually land the job and just work around it. And once you've mastered it, then you can obviously look at leaving that 9 to 5 job.
So you have a smoother transition. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no need for you to just cut I quit today and I'm just going to do this. Like, there's no need for that, right? You can transition out of that. Absolutely. And you're kind of taking away, or the next question that I would have for you here is, what would you say, Jonty, to someone that might not is 100% sure about our mentoring program? They might be on the edge of joining. They don't know if they really want to take the plunge, like you said right at the beginning. Like, what would you tell someone who's in that situation?
What I would say is, I think you've got to decide where you're at in life and the decisions you've made up until this point. Where have they got you, and are you happy at where you are now? And if you keep making decisions where you are right now, do you ever think you're going to be at where you want to be? And if you don't start taking big decisions in your life and taking risks, then the definition of an entrepreneur is somebody that takes a risk in gain of massive profit, right? So you have to take that plunge and believe in something to really get the ball rolling. But if you stay inside your comfort zone, you're never going to grow, and you have to step out of that comfort zone for you to experience growth. That you can read all the books you want in the world, and you can watch all the self-help YouTube videos, and I was an absolute slave to that. I read all the books, I watched all the videos, I watched all the motivational things. But if it ultimately comes down to, if you don't take action, you're never going to get anywhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing to add there, really. I mean, again, if you're risk adverse, if you don't take risks, what do you expect? Okay, nothing will change. Jonty, is there anything else that you want to mention before we wrapping things up here slowly? Anything else that you want to bring up? Anything else that you want to share? Any advice that you have?
So I mean, to be fair, I think one of the coolest things I've found on this journey is actually finding myself. And what I mean by that is, I've started to meditate a lot. And one of the challenges that I actually do is, when I come into, this is obviously further down the road into closing, but one of the challenges I've found extremely interesting for myself is when I talk to someone that's on a completely different personality type, or talk to someone that I possibly don't like and really aren't getting along with, the challenge to try and just be happy, stay calm, and not let those emotions get a hold of you has been something that's actually helped me in my external life too, and helping me understand, do people have different personality types, and it's about working with those different personality types and really understanding what sort of paradigm people are coming from, and being able to understand that, and being in a line with that. That's been something that's been amazing for me, is really just trying to stay calm and be neutral, like in every single call, has been very challenging for me, but that's something I've recently overcome that I've been very happy with. The other thing I'd say as well is, obviously the ability to like work wherever you want is obviously huge. Like, you know, it's just amazing. Like, and depending on obviously, you know, what sort of gig you're at, the gig I'm at right now, we essentially work for ourselves. So we actually pick our own calendar time. I literally block off when I want to work. As long as you give like 2 weeks notice, I choose when I want to work, what hours I want to work. So like what, you know, if I want to take a month off, I can take a month off. Like for instance, I was actually in Dubai at the beginning of this year, so I took a whole entire month off, no questions asked, which was absolutely amazing. Don't find that in many other jobs. So yeah, that was definitely something that's huge for me. Just that flexibility and being able to really just be the master of your own schedule, right? You can, like, you know, you can choose if you want to take the afternoon off, like, you know, and it's just such a amazing job to have, to give you everything you need in life to become a better version of yourself. Really, there's, to be honest, I don't think there is a better skill you can learn. If you haven't got a skill, this is the best skill you can learn to really progress as a person, in my opinion, and it comes with the benefits of all that flexibility. So that's definitely, yeah, something I would input into that.
Love that. Yeah. Also that, you know, personal development and learning the skill and closing, it really goes hand in hand. It's the same, right? And so what I always say is closing is the most beautiful personal development journey one can embark on. At the same time, it's very handsomely compensated at the same time, right? So yeah, that's great. And the other thing that you said, that you can pick your hours and you have this flexibility, that also comes with being a good closer, right? When you're just getting started, right, you might not be that flexible, and you really want to, you know, put in the work and push, like you said, put in the work in the beginning. But once you are at the level, for example, where you are right now, Jonty, where you are a good closer, you're able to produce consistent, great results for, you know, the business that you're partnering up with, or that you're working with as a freelancer at the end of the day, right? You have so much freedom because you're the rainmaker, right? They love you. They want to keep you happy. They want to keep you. They want to keep you performing. So you're in a very good position there as well.
I mean, yeah, you're an asset to the company, right? Like we're without you, they don't make no money, right? And that's the simple truth of it. Another thing I'd add as well is, like you said about the personal sort of development journey, is I'm at the point now where it's like playing a game. I learn, and like it's literally like playing a video game in real life. Like I learn a new skill, I test it out, sample it, see if it works. If it doesn't, I take it out. If it does, I put it in, and that combination, you just stack in things as you go. And since I've started at this second gig, my growth has literally been like this, and I've charted it out. It's been very, very steady increase in growth, and that is, you know, that's a real contribution to the fact of how you can just keep on, you know, growing personally, and you get in what you put out. And you know, I have been working on myself and working on the skill, and it obviously shows in the results as it's gone so gradually in inclination.
Yeah, it's compounding, you know, like we said, it's like the gym, it's compounding onto each other. To keep the axe sharp, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, cool. All right, Jonty. Yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I think here we could easily wrap it up. This was a very great interview, lots of gold nuggets, if you're still watching this. And yeah, so if you're still here, if you're still watching this, then also congratulations to you. So we actually have a training. We're going to put the link down below so you can figure out if remote closing is something that you also want to explore. Or if you know that you want to do it, we also got to put a link down below where you can book a free consulting call with either me or someone in my team. If the link is still clickable, if it's still available, if this page is still loading, that means we still have spots available and you can apply. So yeah, Jonty, thank you so much for your time.
No worries.
Congratulations one more time to your success. We're going to stay in touch, and I'm curious to, you know, watch where you go next.
Yeah, for sure. Nice.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. Bye.